When has avoiding something ever changed your life? Like we may like for short term, right? We may be able to push things down. We may be able to avoid things. But overall, if it's something that is important to us, then we can't just avoid it to change it. We have to deal with it. And one of the things that I am seeing is that more and more people are trying to avoid their negative thoughts. Friend, let's talk for a moment. No one likes their negative thoughts. But if you didn't have them, where would you be right now? If you didn't have them, you would have everything you could possibly want, right? I mean, how many times are our negative thoughts what is stopping us from getting the future we want? How many times are negative thoughts really what's stopping us from healing, from asking for something we want, for even acknowledging something we want? And so we have this, like, as a culture, we are trying to avoid all of these negative emotions and negative thoughts. And I want you to free yourself from that thought, that concept, because what we avoid, we cannot change. What we avoid, we cannot, oh, we can't transform, we can't understand, we can't define, we can't grow through. Simply avoiding our negative thoughts is not going to get us the life that we want. It's not going to help us be the people that we want to be. It's not going to help us, like, it's just not. Okay. It's going to get us, it makes us feel guilty. It makes us feel shameful. It makes us feel like we're not enough. It makes us feel like we should be further along than we are. How many times have you thought, man, I should be further along than I am? Like, let me use grief as an example. Man, I should be healed more than I thought I am right now. I should have better parenting skills, like whatever. How many times, like, I don't want to put the things in your mind. We all have examples, right? We all know, and we have that. Well, we all have that feeling that keeps us inadequate, keeps us feeling unworthy. And we think that avoiding our negative thoughts is the key, because if we don't have those thoughts, then we'll be able to get what we want. Right? It's not how it works. It's not how it's going to happen. When we start to look at our negative thoughts, then we can get really honest with ourselves and we can figure out what our positive thoughts need to be. And when we simply reframe our thoughts into something more positive, we're telling ourselves that we're not worthy, that we are not, we tell ourselves that we are not capable, like, of handling these negative emotions or negative thoughts. We are telling that they're not real, that we should just get over them. We are not acknowledging that we're human when we avoid our negative thoughts. And so I want to talk to you about that, because I have a client who we recently started together. I've known her for years, and one of the things that, if you have been in therapy for years too, you should understand what an automatic negative thought is, or at least you've heard it. It's everyone knows what negative thoughts are. Where automatic negative thoughts are those subconscious thoughts, those ones that happen without our own prompting. And so one of the tenets of my coaching is we start to identify them, because when we identify these thoughts, then we can rewire them. Then we can see them in the light. And when things are brought to the light, you can see whether it's true or untrue. And let me let you in on a little secret. Those thoughts, those automatic negative thoughts, are never true. Never. I have not found anyone. And I think now I've got over 7,000 hours of working with clients between therapy and coaching. And not to mention just, how many years of working with friends and things. But your automatic negative thoughts are not true. But we look at them and we avoid them like they are. And so we give them it's almost like we don't know. They're too powerful. They're not that powerful. when we address them, when we bring them to light. So this client that I have, we were working on automatic negative thoughts. And I was like, okay, this is new. It's not going to be an easy process, but it's one that as the sooner we start working on it, the easier it gets. And so I asked her, I'm like, okay, so how is your ant journal going? And well, she's like, well, I started writing them down and I realized I don't like those. So I wrote them down in a positive way. And what she did is not wrong. But how many times have you reframed a negative thought and then you still had those thoughts again? How many times do they continue to come up for you? It's because we do not address them the way that our brains think about them. It's because we don't know the belief behind them to rewire it. This is why affirmations don't work, because if it doesn't speak directly to our belief that we hold, again, our beliefs don't have to be true. But if we don't identify these, we don't have a place to start from. And we're doing the same thing over and over and over again. So we get to write these thoughts, because you don't see the transformation until you know what you're transforming. Let me say that again. We don't get the transformation until we know what we're transforming. So if you put on rose-colored glasses and you change everything to a positive, okay, so you may feel better in that moment, but that thought's going to come back. There is no transformation there. That is willpower, and you're going to have to consciously reframe that. You're going to consciously put on those rose-colored glasses and shove that emotion down. And how often can emotions stay shoved down? I know I have friends who have shoved them down for years, but they come up. If we stop avoiding our negative thoughts, see them for what they are. These are just thoughts that are keeping us safe. They don't necessarily have to be true. You may not believe it yet, but hopefully you'll start to see, and especially through coaching, you can see. This is one of the things that we work on, is understanding what is true and what's not, what is a belief that we hold and what's a true belief. But we don't get the transformation until we know what we're transforming. And so when you take your time, give yourself grace, and look at what your negative thoughts are, that's the moment that they lose power over us. We write them down. They still sting. I have my automatic negative thought journal. It has been years and I still keep the journal. I do not put my name on it. I don't like, it's an ugly journal, because if I ever lose it or someone finds it, I'll be like, oh, not mine. I don't know. It's one that I'm not proud of, but I now know that everything in that journal, those are my keys to transformation. Those are the old beliefs that no longer serve me, that I get to change, that I get to, through a specific process that works with our brain and not against it. It's not just reframing it into positive. Again, that will work first in the moment, but that doesn't work long term. Even if you do it over and over and over and over, excuse me, there's still not true transformation. It's willpower. You have to do that. You have to consciously do that. We want to do things and get it out of subconscious. And so when we want to change things, we don't do it by avoiding what's going on. So stop avoiding your negative thoughts. Write them down. Give them the attention that they deserve, because those, recognize it. And then you can tell yourself at that moment when you write them down, oh, that's not true. But don't discredit your thoughts by not writing them down at all, or by acknowledging them at all. So when we do this, when we reframe everything, it gives us that anxious, and then we don't see the full transformation. When you're ready for the full transformation, that's when we acknowledge what's going on in our brains. What are our thoughts? What are our beliefs? What do we want? Which, don't get me started there. So many people, including myself, We start talking about what we want and we get all squirrely, and because we feel guilty about wanting something bigger than ourselves. Friend, if you want the transformation, you want the healing, if you want that change, if you want to make an impact with your life, if you want to take your pain and heal it, and you want to find your purpose, we don't do that by avoiding things. We do that by looking at it head on, and then we acknowledge them, we give ourselves grace, and we move through it, not by avoiding it. So if you want to go deeper with this, if you're ready to acknowledge some of these thoughts, recognizing right now, like newsflash, they are not true. So we get to have grace in that, and we don't have to feel guilty when we write them. It is hard at first, but then the more you do it, the more you realize that once it's there, it loses its power. You see how you're worthy. You see how you're like, wow, this is a thought I want to transform. You don't have to get stuck in that cycle of constantly reframing it into something positive. We can actually find what's true, and we can reframe it to that. So that is what I have for you today. This is the subject that I am so passionate about. If I've not met you yet, my name is Tammy. I'm an executive life coach. I am a master certified neuro coach. I am an Enneagram coach. I'm a trained therapist. I like to understand why we do what we do and how to change it. And so that is what I have become obsessed with. That is what my whole life and my mission, my purpose is to help you find what your purpose is, the meaning of your life, the calling that's been placed on you. But instead of looking outside of yourself for it, and also looking at those circumstances you've been through, the things in your life you've been through, those are not your purpose. They may show you glimpses of why you've been put on this earth. They show glimpses of your strengths and your weaknesses and your gifts and your talents and the way you see the world. Your pain is not your purpose. Your purpose is a beautiful purpose. And well, when you're ready to discover it, and I don't even like to say, turn your pain into purpose. Your pain points to your purpose, but it is not your purpose. So I would love to connect with you. I would love to have a conversation with you and just see what's possible. Like, DM me. Let's talk about what have you been through and how can we pull elements from that? Let's look at your negative thoughts. And I know that in a 20-minute phone call, I can show you how they're not true. So DM me. Put deeper in the comments if you want me to reach out to you, but let's not sit and think that we're doing ourselves a favor by constantly reframing our thoughts into something more positive or something more palpable. It's okay to have a negative thought. It's normal. It's natural. It's okay to want to change it. But what's not okay is to avoid them at all costs and feel guilty because you have them. That I won't stand for. That I cannot let you go any further with. So put deeper. If you want to talk about this, DM me and we can talk about what negative thought do you have and how can we reframe it? Or if you don't have any negative thoughts, tell me that too. That's a joke. We all have thoughts. We all have negative thoughts, but hey, it's fun to think one day we won't ever have them. But that's what makes us human. That's what our brains are supposed to do. And so with that, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you with that. Reach out to me or just mention deeper in the comments and let's talk about what's possible. All right, friend, I will see you later. Choose joy until joy chooses you. And remember, your pain is not your purpose. So you don't have to act like it. All right. Bye for now.